What's up, everybody? Back with another video here, and today we are doing rapid videos. So we're going to do two 10-0 games. Not going to be a tournament or anything, just going to do two normal games. A little bit slower. Hopefully I can talk through the thought processes a little bit more. And yeah, let's jump into it. Hit play here. Currently 1850 rated. Got Fly G Planet. Alright, so E4 player. I'll go D4. Did get a Red Bull from a free event a few days ago, so we'll see if that helps me play some better chess today. Okay, D6. Typically I would go Bishop C4 here. I think we're going to do that. Push the pawn. Okay. We could now go Bishop G5. I feel like if I enticed him to play pawn up, that would probably be a good move. He could also just block with the knight or the bishop, which wouldn't be a huge deal. Blocking with the knight would be iffy. I think we're going to try it anyways. Let's go with the knight. Okay, I am tempted to play C3. Let's go C3 first. I'm more than likely going to castle kingside. Okay. That move makes sense. I think I like the idea of going bishop e3 if you were castles. I get to move my queen up and threaten a pawn at the same time. Which then makes me kind of wonder if knight d2 may not be the move. But if I go here and he pushes, feels like my bishop's getting kind of blocked out. Let's go bishop back to e3. Could expect this move. I don't know how concerned I am about that at the moment. Probably just bishop back to b3 is fine. Let's castle. Okay. Not the move I was expecting. At what point do I want to start pushing? Let's go rook here. I'm still not 100% sure where I want to put that knight. He's going to force me to defend this pawn one way or another. I could always just push. Which wouldn't be bad. Maybe we'll bring the knight in first. Thinking queen here. Even if he castles, I don't think I'd get much out of hitting this pawn. He could always just go king h7. I'm trying to say the letters and numbers of each square. Something I need to practice that a little bit. I found that it kind of helps me visualize positions and try to calculate ahead if I can keep track of the numbers. Now what to do? Maybe rook d1. It's probably a good start. Already 2 minutes down. Not in any kind of time trouble yet, but probably want to speed it up. This move I am thinking about, well, so I can't really push because then that traps the bishop. I'm going to take. See what he does here. He's got to take there. Can't take with this pawn, obviously, because we've got that pinned. I'd be fine with bishop. Okay, well, hold on. So I just have check here. Yeah, let's do that. For whatever reason in my mind, that was that piece was defended, and that was definitely not the case. I'm threatening to take this knight. If he goes pawn takes, I have here. This is looking good. I'm trying to make sure I'm finding the best move here. I'd like to get these rooks in the game. I'm wondering if takes almost is worse for this bishop. I don't necessarily want to leave that hanging. I wouldn't be overly concerned if he took that knight. Probably just run to king f1. Could also push here. I kind of like that move. If he takes here, I'm fine with this. Fine with that. I'd like to get that into the game anyways. Okay. So I'm thinking knight takes, and then bring this knight into the game. Threaten to take twice, win the pawn. Knight here is a possibility to hit g6. He's got a lot of ways to defend it. This move, so I'm thinking take, he can't take with the queen, and then I get to hit here. I could always double up. He's not really threatening anything at the moment. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Let's see what we can get out of this. It's not the move I was expecting. Let's go here. I'll pre-move that. All right, under 5 minutes. We got a good position here, up a pawn. Definitely need to not get under time pressure too bad. I don't have an increment. Just to hopefully keep this keep the games from lasting too long. Okay, so here I was looking at just pushing. This does also open that up. So I'm wondering here, bishop takes, rook to here to hit the bishop, and then regardless of where it moves afterwards, to get check in. I could also just defend the pawn. I like opening this up. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. Can't take. I'm realizing now that this was just a bad move. This doesn't work. Wow, this is brutal. I needed to spend another half a second on that move. Because this is just completely... Well, okay. This is an interesting move. I think that keeps everything together. That was if it does, that was a nice find. Make sure I'm watching out for any back rank stuff. Obviously, I've got that covered. But now the thought is that I may have some nifty ideas with a checkmate. With the discovery after something like this. I think this just leads to checkmate. All right, I've got 3 minutes, so we'll calculate this. So I'm looking at rook d7 check. Let's say he moves here. Okay, so this is where it'll get a little bit dicey. Rook d7 check. If he takes, then I have queen takes g6 and then mate. So either he takes it or he runs here. If he runs here, what's my response? Because I've got to watch out for this. I am still covering that, so I could always just take the pawn here. I'll try it. It's got to run here. I'm looking at queen e2. Keep this covered. I could try and hit that bishop. Am I concerned about a move like, yeah, so he's got to do that. No choice. Here, I'm not really threatening that. This leads to mate. So that does not work. Is a move like this better? So on here, I'm expecting this. I can go here. I don't have a great follow-up outside of that. Let's start with it. On bishop e4, I'm thinking queen e2. And you start to move a little bit quicker. I think I messed this up in some way. The move was kind of nice, but I don't know if I had a great response. I think this is fine. On queen check, I have here. Okay. I think this move should be pretty helpful. If queen check now, I bump up. If I didn't do this, he was threatening queen check here on king f1. This pin. So that should be a helpful move. We'll see where that bishop goes. I'm kind of expecting bishop f5. At which point I will probably just take. Okay. He still goes here. Yeah. Butchered this in one way or another. Can't even take because of that. Let's go here, I guess. Lose the queen. That was terrible. We'll have to look at this one. I had a nice position there, and then one way or another that fell apart. On queen check, I'll come back and block. That would be ideal. I can maybe get the bishop out of it. But down 6 minutes at this point. I don't think rook here was a good move. I think I will we'll look back, and that will have been the deciding factor. I think we take here. On rook takes, we'll take that pawn, so I'm thinking check. Okay. That was an interesting one. Queen takes, we'll do this. We'll try to avoid any forks. I'd like to somehow maybe get a sneaky back rank in, but we'll go here. Queen c5 will go back. Let's double up. Try and keep it safe right now. It's like we couldn't go rook e6, trying to get rook d7 if the queen moves. To be expected there. We gotta move. Gotta move. All right, check. We'll go here. Takes, we'll take back. Queen here, we'll go rook back to d3. Okay. Ill-advised, but we're trying it. All right, we're just going to lose on time. All right. Let's look at this one real quick. Not sure. So I felt like I was playing this decently. Found the pawn. Let's see, did it like e5 or d5? Didn't dislike it. I was happy with that move. Fine with taking. It's liking my position more and more. It did like take. I felt good about that one. Hit the queen. Double up on the rooks. Okay, I didn't love that one. Rook g3. Which makes sense. I didn't see too much of a follow-up outside of that, but I can see how doubling up was not the best move. Here it again liked rook g3. Didn't strongly dislike takes, but not the best move. Finally hit rook g3. It did like rook d7. Okay, that was the move. Rook f7, king h8. I have mate in 3 here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do. That was a great move. I just have to sack the rook. Has to take. And then I have this. Man. Completely missed that. I make that move and it's even. Queen e2 is the right move. And then that was a blunder. Well, we played it good up until right here. And rook f7 actually was the only move, just to give up the queen. Or not necessarily the only move, but the move that prolonged things. So I didn't see the response to here, and I missed the rook sack. All right. Tough start. One more here. Playing against Cali. Hopefully we can stay above 1800 rated here. Go knight f3. I get 2 games with white. Bishop c4. This is always my go-to. That's an interesting move. Let's go knight c3. I assume he's just wanting to prevent bishop g5 at some point or another. We'll go pawn up. Not necessarily opposed by that. We'll develop the bishop regardless. Maybe bring up some kind of potential sack if here were castles. Start to throw some pawns down the board. Which honestly, almost slightly tempted to do that anyways. Bishop here, I would almost encourage him to take and open this up, assuming he's going to castle kingside. That's an interesting one. Okay. I think here my best bet is just to, I mean, he's got to take, obviously. There's no way I can prevent that unless I were to sack it somehow, but that's not going to happen. I'm thinking I just castle and then start to push. Let's do that. We'll try to move a little faster here. I was in too much time trouble in the last game. I think queen takes there is the right call. I do need to watch out for moves like that. So I'm going to go ahead and move the king out of the way just to be a little preventative. If knight takes, I'll take with... let me look at this. So if I take with the queen, I'm threatening on f7. He's got probably bishop e6 is his response. If I take, queen check. It's not bad. Knight's coming in. I kind of like that. If I take, really the only benefit is to open it up for the rook. Am I missing anything here? I don't think so. So we're threatening there. Okay, on castles, here I was thinking we just start to push pawns. I'm kind of liking that. I think it's going to be worthwhile for me to get this bishop out of the game. Let's jump the knight in. On pushes, we're just taking. I see this bishop being a pretty good defender if I start to push pawns down the board. He doesn't want to, which is understandable. So if I go here, he's in time to kick the knight out. I can always go the other way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If I go here, he just takes. So let's push this pawn, looking for this. If he kicks the knight, I'll go back here. If takes here, I think I will take with the pawn. Interesting. Okay. So now I'm thinking here. Queen g2, takes, and then looking to get the rooks in. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Any benefit to here? There could always be some benefit if I decide to take with the queen instead. We'll give myself the option. I'm not convinced yet. I do think I want to open that up. So I can always hit the queen first. I don't really see a reason not to do that. He's done a decent job of defending here, taking pieces off the board. And there really hasn't been much I can do about it. I can always get the queen out, offer trades. Let's go queen here. I'll let him trade. Okay. I don't think I have any good pins here. If I takes, queen takes, presumably. I don't have this move. I can go here, then he's in time to double up. But he's still... I don't think I dislike that, because even if he doubles up, he still can't move that queen, because then the pawn is undefended. And I think I have that to my benefit. Am I at all concerned? I'm thinking about walking the king over. Let's do that. Instead of a4, I probably should have done this initially. Okay, so I get check. Am I concerned with take here? All right, so on rook e1, obviously he's hitting the rook. King f, queen f2. Let's start with this. He could take here. And if I take back, queen takes, he's defending e5. So I'm wondering if he takes on e4. If I take e5 first, takes. I think that would be a pretty good position. I like the way that looks. So here I'm looking at winning another pawn with d5. I wouldn't hold on to it for long, but he would at least be forced to take it back. Let's do that. And then rook here, which is fine. There's not much I can do about that. Then I will go rook f1 and get on this. And I should, I think, have a decent chance of maintaining so here I just go rook f7 anyways. If he takes the pawn, I take. Yeah. Got the defender. One concern, obviously, he takes the pawn, I take. He's going to get on this open file. I think a4 might come in handy here. It's already up the board. Maybe save me a move, pushing it to promotion. So I don't think he's going to be in time. We'll see. That's my guess right now. I was going to say he could consider that. In my mind, this just gives me the ability to push my king up. I could also go a5. Let's say his king is stuck. Let's just keep pushing here right now. I don't really see a reason not to. I'll push a5. I'm still going to threaten this pawn. And if he pushes it and I go rook a7, he's SOL. Can't defend it. I don't see a reason not to. Okay. Am I at all concerned about that? I really don't think so. Let's go rook b6. If he takes, I take, and I'm hitting that pawn as well. Okay. I'm not concerned about that. Not much I do know. Let's go and start walking the king up here. This pawn is hanging if he tries to move the king over. I probably could have taken that on the last move. But it may not be a bad idea. Now we'll take it just to defend. Keep the rook protected. This should be game over. So now I'm looking at pushing the e-pawn. His rook's going to have to come over to defend. He's looking to get check-in. I'm thinking we just take. Yeah, this is game over. If he takes there, I push. I probably push regardless. And there's nothing he can do to stop it. He can give one check, but after here, it's game over. All right, 1-1. Not too bad. Not too bad. We'll look at the game review for this one as well, just for fun. That one felt like a pretty solid game, fairly slow, pretty good accuracy, and then just kind of pulled ahead in the middle game there. really at the end game. Wasn't much special about it. I played like a 2300. That sounds about right. Just kidding. Start the review. Opening was fine. Didn't love. I am curious. Queen up here. I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm wondering if it would rather just see castle. I likes that better. Push the pawn. Okay. Takes. Not a fan of g3. Yeah, g3 felt slow. I'm not sure what the recommendation would be otherwise, because I can't push that pawn. Maybe a3 again? Is that what it's going to suggest? Still an inaccuracy. Really? Fascinating. So it wanted h4. I completely ruled this move out. And on takes. Knight takes c7. Wow. And on rook here. Knight b5. Interesting. Okay. That's a string of moves I would not have considered. Queen there. Didn't like queen e2. It liked queen takes f6. See, I just didn't feel like I really had a lot in this position. Most of the moves it's suggesting are either just rook moves or pawn moves. I felt a little slow. I wanted to keep queens on the board. I don't necessarily feel bad about that one. It wanted me to take with the queen. I liked opening the rook up. Okay. Taking was fine. Queen g4 I wasn't a big fan of. But taking here, that move's fine. a4 it likes. Okay. Felt decent about that move. It ended up coming in handy. d5. Here I started to walk the king over. Queen g4. I don't really see the benefit of that one. Seems a little too high level for me. So move the queen, kind of what I was hoping for, because after you double up in order to make progress, you've got to move something. And either you get rid of your doubled up queen and rook, or you hang that pawn. Because that pawn's got nowhere to go. So did end up hanging the pawn. Had check. Rook here, really probably the only move. Just to defend that pawn and keep the rook out of the queen's way. Queen f6 it doesn't like. And I'm going to assume it's because of d5. That's not why it wanted me to take. See, I don't get this. Because after takes, and then it wants takes here. Oh. And then here I would probably go queen d2. Just so that here I have this move. And then I guess the thought is that if we get to this position, I'm up a pawn. That's just, I don't like giving him the open file. I didn't want to take. I like taking here. And it didn't like him taking. So it wanted him to come back. Which is kind of surprising. So here, and I take. And that's a complete... Oh, I'm hanging the rook. Disregard. So to come down here to hit the rook, on this move, then it has him taking back. I take e5. Okay, so just another way I guess it could have proceeded, but take the pawn here. It doesn't like him taking. And then he goes to attack the pawn, but... And this is what I saw when I took here, is that in order for him to actually win that pawn back, he has to give me the file. He could have gone here, which I push. One way or another, he's getting back on that file. So I get the file, king there. I get to jump in and b4 was best. I felt good about that one too, just slowly making progress. I like it when I make moves like that and the computer tells me that that was the right move, just because they're kind of subtle. Like pawn push, the rook's back here, and it's kind of fun to have such a good position that your best move is just to push a pawn forward because your opponent really can't do much else. Pawn takes here. If I take, he gets pretty active, and I really wanted to keep these pawns on the board for queening. So I played a5. It says a5 is the best. Pushing a6, and then once he does that, he just has no way to defend. So he goes here, I'm assuming prepping c5, which you played on the next move, but just too slow. I go rook b6. It's kind of the same thing. If I take here, it's one pawn for one pawn. He gets a little more active. And I'm like trying to keep him pinned down as much as possible. So b6 on takes, I take. With this move order, I'm hitting both pawns, and his rook's still on the back rank. So he can come attack a5, but there's really no reason. His idea is that if I want to take this pawn, I have to hang it. But this pawn's not going anywhere. If he pushes it once, I take. Otherwise, it's stuck. So there's really no reason for me to take that pawn. Starts moving the king up. Thought process for me here is that I'll move the king over to defend this pawn to free up my rook, and either go take the rest of his pawns or defend this one to push. He moves the king up to attack, but I take and then defend the rook, and at this point everything is still defended. There's really nothing he can do. He goes rook here, I guess kind of trying to get a check here. There's not much that would do anyways, but I just take the pawn. Yeah, I think right now it's just playing what the computer's best moves would be. But this is instructive at least. So at this point he resigned, but at this point it's over. He could give one check and come back, but then I promote and I'm up a rook and a bunch of pawns. So that was a pretty good game. Fun battle in the end game there. Able to go 1-1, stay in the mid 1800s. So not too bad overall, but I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully this was enjoyable. If my commentary during the games is helpful or completely unhelpful, or if there's something else you'd want to see, let me know. But that's going to do it for today. We'll see you in the next one.